Bluff City NIL is an official partner of Coaching for Literacy, a nonprofit organization using the power of sports to impact childhood literacy. You can read more about them at coachingforliteracy.org or follow them on social media at Coaching for Literacy. Your donations to Bluff City NIL are 100% tax deductible because of the partnership together. So we thank you for supporting Memphis Tiger student athletes and helping promote the monumental cause of childhood literacy. TJ, what is this? Episode 23, back for another one.
23, my man. How crazy is that?
Hey, not as exciting. I thought we were going to have a real exciting episode this week, given some things that were, I thought, happening, but not a whole lot of exciting news this week so far, other than this Memphis Natch lager we're sipping on tonight. That's exciting.
Oh, yeah.
It's always good when we get a pint, you know?
A pint. Yeah, man. It's just different.
Love a good pint. Goes better with the length of the episodes typically. Those 12 ounces, they don't last for how long you and I just talk sometimes. Yeah. Sometimes we don't even plan to talk that long. It just happens. Did you read the story about this Memphis Natch on the can, by the way?
I didn't know it existed. No, I did not.
Yeah. Well, we'll talk about it at the end. It's hang around for the end of the episode. You'll find out more about Natch, the bear who's on the can, and how Natch helped start the Memphis Zoo, which is now
actually, dude, I know that story.
Do you? I did not know it until I read this can.
Well, if you are a Grizzlies season ticket holder, they have Natch on a lot of the home games, so you know who Natch is. And if you don't, you've looked up who Natch
is. And Grizz is like Natch's grandson or something, I'm sure.
They've altered that storyline 15 times, I'm not sure.
Makes sense.
So I've actually looked up who Natch was, so I'm with you now.
All right, Tej, we were out at Simmons Bank Friday night. The weather cleared up a little bit. It was a little nippy, though, to be honest with you.
It was very nippy.
Probably one of the smaller spring game crowds we've had, at least in, I would say, the last couple of years. And I think a lot of that is because it was a nasty Friday.
Yeah.
People weren't going to get out there. And even though it had stopped raining, it was wet. The seats were wet. It was chilly. But it turned out to be a pretty decent night for football. I will say, you told us last week about the team splitting up evenly and not doing the ones versus the ones and two, which is kind of how we typically had seen it. More situational stuff, but you get to see and get a feel for the two deep, I would say. You didn't get a feel for that on Friday. And I thought initially I was going to like the format because it was going to feel like a real football game. And I'm going to be honest, wasn't a big fan.
No.
It was real difficult to tell anything because you got dudes playing against or playing next to one another for the offensive line, the defensive line, QB running back, like that just haven't gotten a lot of reps together. And I think it definitely showed. I mean, especially in the trenches. I think the offensive line is probably a spot that is going to struggle the most when you've got a guy to your right and left that you probably haven't lined up with very much. So I thought that I was going to like it, and I'll just being straight up. It wasn't, I don't think it's the best format. I would have preferred the ones versus ones, twos versus twos, maybe mix a guy in here or there, but it was still good to see some live action football. Live action.
Yeah, I think I'm with you. And a lot of that comes from, especially with the offensive line. You didn't get to see 5 consistent guys line up together. There were a couple of guys that you kind of project to be starters that played on the same team, but then you also had what are probably these maybe second string or third string people playing with them. And so you just saw some, I don't know, just some weird lineups. I think Ryan said 6 different guys snapped the ball, and that's never going to be hopefully that is never the case.
If you ever have 6 in a real game, you got real problems.
I mean,
I'm totally with you though.
It was nice to see some guys that perhaps you probably wouldn't have seen until like way later. I kind of like seeing some of the second string guys work in with some of the ones just so you can kind of see um, perhaps like a Jalen Joyner, a guy who is an inbound transfer. He's not likely to start over a Comonte or a Derek Hunter, maybe. I'm not really sure who's going to be that other end position, but it's nice to see him get out there because you've never seen him at all unless you're just out
Yeah,
there watching FAU tape for some odd reason. So
sure.
that I
No,
like
yeah,
kind of seeing.
it's definitely it's good in that aspect to see some guys in live action that you hadn't necessarily gotten to see yet. But two, there were a lot of guys I was wanting to see that weren't out
Mhm.
there for different reasons. Blake Watson, Toski
Yeah,
Dove, Derek Hunter, who you just mentioned. I mean, there were several guys um, who didn't suit up on Friday, and that's kind of what I was most excited about was seeing some of them
sure.
in a more scrimmage game like situation, just to kind of see what they bring. Um, I will say, I guess probably the highlight. There was maybe two, uh, but Demir Plankumski,
Yeah.
a 75-yard tutty, uh, just a deep ball from Tevin, broke away from. I don't who was defending him on that play.
I want to say
They
DJ
kind of,
Bell.
yeah, he kind of slipped. It wasn't
Yeah,
necessarily like a true like burn him
sure.
in the dust, but a good ball from Tevin. Um, and a long 75-yard tutty, but we saw it sitting with our buddy Johnathan and Scott. Like Feaster was on the other side of the field. Dude's got wheels
Yeah.
because
Feaster can run.
Demir is fast. And granted, he was slowing down a little bit as he approached the end zone,
You could tell he was gaining.
but Feaster was coming from the
Yeah.
opposite side of the field and was making up some ground. So it was exciting. That another guy. That's a guy we got to see and some action. So it was good to see Feaster out there making some plays. He had a tackle at the line of scrimmage. Some good stuff that you'd like to see that we've maybe struggled with. Open field tackling. Feaster had a good
Yeah.
open field tackle and a short kind of swing pass out to the flat. So, I mean, it wasn't as much as I would have preferred the older format. There were
Yeah.
some good things that you got to see out of it. Tevin got a lot of reps. We mentioned the 75-yard touchdown. That was probably the extent of the peak of his night. Threw a
Sure.
couple of picks after that. I think he had two, right, and then West threw one.
Yep.
But I will say this: Tevin throws a damn beautiful ball, even when it's picked off. I mean, those were his two picks were two. I mean, they may be bar none the two prettiest picks I've ever seen in my life. I mean,
Sure.
just the ball in the air, just the kid slings it. I mean, it was to the wrong team, but it was a beautiful ball, both of them.
Yeah. And I will say I was kind of hard on Tevin during it because it was throwaway, it was interception, it was just one thing after another. But I kind of have
Yeah.
to remind myself because of this weird format, he is not playing with guys he is familiar with. He doesn't know
Right.
timing
He's got
with.
the offensive line guys in it,
Exactly.
like
Exactly.
so it's
There's a lot
again,
of it kind of set up for him.
it's hard to really come away with anything out of that. I mean, if you read some of the other articles and things, listen to anybody else, everybody's gonna say it was the defense shined, right? They
Yep.
had 3 picks, it's low scoring, 13-10, the blue team won. Um, there was a goal line stand in there early on,
Yep.
which was cool to see. But I mean, even Ryan talked about it. Like at this point in time in the spring, that's kind of what you're hoping for is that the defense probably looks a little bit better, right? It's going to take maybe some of those pieces offensively to kind of gel over the summer, get some of that timing down, get the reps under themselves. It's a little easier to look a more polished, I guess you could say, defensively at this point in time. Um, and I don't know that we've really I guess that could be a takeaway of, I don't know, excitement or positivity from, Friday is the defense did look good.
Yeah.
Granted, I mean, even given, like, the mixture of people on both sides of both the blue and the gray, like, you didn't have your one defense out there, but the people that were out there kinda combined ones, twos, and threes together, like, the defense was looking pretty stout.
Yeah. I would agree. And I think that's actually kind of That was kind of a highlight, right? This is a defense. The first time we're seeing it without Quindell. There was no Zay Collins. There was no Tyler Murray. There was no who else is gone from last year? Savante Oliver is gone. I mean, so you're just talking about a lot of guys that played a lot of snaps for you the last year, and for the defense to come out and look good, you're kind of like, okay, well, maybe we're not missing all of the pieces that we maybe thought we had last year. Obviously, it hurts to lose some of those. Obviously, likely an NFL draft pick, but I don't know. Maybe with Jeff Canton Arku, Jalen Allen. I'm trying to think of who else kind of anchors the D line. Hamilton,
Yeah,
Ruben will be
Cavante,
back.
yeah.
Ross will be back. So maybe we have something to look forward to from the defensive side. So I'm in for it.
And a couple of guys that, we've seen a little bit from, but I mean, Harold Nash the other night, he had 2 picks himself, right? And you have 2 or 3.
And he's played before too. He kind of gets
it's just not somebody that's like
yeah.
You're not saying his name every Saturday, right? He's gotten some action.
Sure.
But definitely stood out on Friday. Another dude, at least that I noticed from the Gray side, there was I think probably one full possession where Hank Pearson, is that his name?
Yeah, the
66
from Germantown or Houston.
Yeah, dude was getting in. He and Morante Kimbrough were eating in the backfield in the second half. On Friday. I mean, I think there was 3 straight plays where the 2 of Kimbrough, I think, got 2 sacks and Hank got another one, like 3 straight plays. I mean, again, that's probably because you had, an offensive line, a group that's not accustomed to playing with one another. And so there's some miscommunication, unfamiliarity. But defensively, we look strong. And I think, again, just kind of go back to that, like at this point in the spring, that's a good thing. Your defense should look probably better than the offense does right now.
Yeah. I'm all for it. There's still room to grow. I still have questions on the linebacker. Obviously, we talked about Jeff Canton Arku, but who are going to be the other guys, right? You've got 2 other linebacker spots, and then kind of that weird floater position, the Tyler Murray, the Austin Hall type of like hybrid safety position.
Which
like
sounds like I guess he was really playing more safety the other night, but Smoke Jones, Andrew.
Yeah.
I mean, I thought it was a good play. You said it was a flag. The refs didn't call it, but he had a good hit across the middle that broke up a pass. And I wanted TJ, I will tell you, they put it in the highlight video on the Twitter, the Memphis football Twitter, and it looks clean to me.
I'll have to go back and watch it. It looked like he may have.
I thought he timed it great,
contact.
But that's a good. I mean, that's he seemed like he felt comfortable in that spot. So that's another guy to watch out for, like you said, in that sort of, I don't know, what do they call it, like big cat spot or something?
Yeah,
it's been like to me, it looked like or whatever, but that hybrid.
I think that they just straight up moved him to safety, though.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Friday, that's what it looked like. Which, given that, you're kind of like, is he going to be able to get out there as a safety?
I mean, he's fast. I get it.
Simeon Blair, you got Joel Williams, you got Cam Smith. I mean,
maybe it's just depth, baby.
We'll see.
I don't know. Yeah, we will see. Maybe Davian Mayo can get some run. He's played well for us since he's been here.
You're talking about a backer out there, a linebacker. Yeah, right. I mean, if you had to say a starting 3 at that second level right there defensively, I mean, obviously Jeff. You go Chandler Martin and Mayo or Sincere. Throw Sincere out there.
I think Sincere has moved, and that kind of will lead us to something we've talked about. I think he is Jalen Allen's backup now. I think he is purely that rush end right off the edge. I mean, he's like 6'4", 250. Like, I mean, he's a big dude.
Yeah. They still got him listed at linebacker, but we'll see. And
this is still a project, right? They're still kind of moving people around, testing stuff. So I'm not shocked one bit.
Yeah.
I mean, if I had to take a guess now, definitely Jeff at middle linebacker, Chandler Martin, I would be shocked if he doesn't play just due to the fact that they brought him in. I mean, he was all conference, I think, last year for his previous school. And maybe someone between Davian Mayo or CJ Johnson would be my best guess. Obviously, the spring game was not helpful that instance because they broke up starters and you have no clue who's a
Right.
starter and who's bouncing
Yeah.
around or what. So,
Yeah. Yeah. So you got linebacker Sincere, CJ, like you said, Jeff, Chandler Martin, Davion Mayo, Carmelo Overton. They still got Smoke Jones listed as a linebacker, but he was definitely playing DB.
for sure.
Yeah. Yeah, I think the safe four are Chandler, Jeff, Sincere, and Davion.
Yeah.
Kind of as you pencil in one of those, and even if one of them's not starting, they're definitely getting reps for sure. All right. Anything else stand out to you Friday night, or anything you noticed, or you were looking for?
Yeah,
Can we get Greg
was
Gaston's mic fixed? Holy Toledo! My
Yeah, that
dude
was brutal.
interviewed 400 players on Friday, and I mean, you could only hear about every fourth word that was said, if that.
Yeah, that was pretty bad. To answer your question, I mean, I think the elephant in the room is watching the receivers, right? And you did not walk away with confidence, perhaps, right? I mean, we talked about Blancomsey's big catch.
Yeah, and
That's
Rock
really
had
about
Rock
it,
had a
right?
good one. Rock had a good one down the sideline later in the game, right, where he caught one kind of falling out of bounds. It was also called pass interference, but he still made the catch, which is also like because
Oh
he had a
yeah,
couple of drops earlier, right, in the game that were not difficult catches by any
sure.
means. It's just like and we were talking about this. It seems like it's like a concentration or focus thing, right? Like he's able to, and he's done this for the last couple of years. I mean, I remember this as a
Yeah.
freshman, right? He would make a one-handed catch across the middle, but drop like what he should have had
Yeah.
3 touchdowns at Central Florida 2 years ago. And they were just like in the breadbasket and he bobbled them into picks. But
into picks in the end zone.
yeah, I mean, he's very capable.
Yeah.
But there are definitely times where it's like that's a very catchable, easy ball to make the play and it's dropped. But then, he made up for it, I guess, if you will, and the catch down the sideline ultimately that was the go ahead for the blue team to pull out the victory. But
They're gonna need
how do
him,
you let me
by the
ask you
way.
that they are, but that's the other, like, that's why I wanted to see Toski so bad, right?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah. That's a grown man, by the way.
if you told me today that Toski, Demir, and Rock are your kind of starting three, I mean,
Okay.
I could take definitely Demir. He looks apart, right? Like Rock, I think he's very capable, but it's just like I don't know enough about Dub. I hadn't seen a lot, and so that's kind of what I was looking for going into Friday. And I don't really feel like, to your point from that room, that anybody else kind of stood out on Friday night.
I mean, I will say Dove, from a production standpoint, is coming with over 1,000 yards career receiving.
He's
At
a
Mizzou.
big dude too.
He is. I mean, he's 6'2", 200 pounds. Like
Yeah.
he is a big
He's only
frame
listed
guy.
at 6'2". He looks bigger than that.
He did look bigger than that. I agree. I do think that they have, from a physical standpoint, a very good set of base receivers, depending on who you think is going to be there. Rock Taylor is a grown man. I mean, he is a very well 220 pounds, like 6'3", 220, very well built. Towski Dove is a very thick dude. Blankumsey, obviously kind of smaller and more slight, I guess is the word there. And then you have Skates. Skates is a big, long guy, big, long strider. So if your objective is to just overpower smaller defenders, like you've got a good line to do that. And then you have two speedsters that can just kind of burn everything from wherever you put them. Right. So I think they have really good potential. I still don't think we're going to have 1,000-yard receiver, which is fine as long as we're winning games. Like, I'm not trying to be hella picky about we need this Calvin Austin 1,000-yard receiver. We need this Anthony Miller 1,000-yard receiver. Everyone could have 600 yards, 500 yards. I don't give a dang. I don't give a dang that one guy hits 1,000 yards, right? Seth's going to break 3,000 yards passing, assuming he stays healthy. Knock on wood.
That sounded like aluminum.
No, man, it's my laptop and Cam. Probably you heard tapping each other, but yeah, like I mean, from who you expect to start, I have no concerns on the offense, especially since they didn't look great during the spring game. I get why people may question it, but I think we're good.
I hope so. And I'm not. I don't necessarily think you have to have 1,000-yard receiver. To your point, like
You don't.
if you got dudes that can catch the ball, we've already talked.
No.
Demir and Joe are both speedsters. Rock and Toski are bigger bodied guys. So, and it seemed like the other night they were trying to get Jamari Hawkins involved quite a bit. So that
Yeah.
may be another guy to kind of watch out for in that
That's
room.
definitely a guy to watch out for.
Yeah. So let me ask you this from a, obviously Ducker didn't play. Watson didn't suit up. What did you think Friday about the running back room?
I mean,
Sutton, to me, I'll say it. Sutton looks like the starter.
Yeah, Sutton looks like that dude. But what do you want from a running back perspective, right? I think the way it's going to work out is you're going to get Jay Ducker as the starter because he checks their boxes. There is a hole, he hits the hole, he doesn't fumble. He's not probably going to break a 40-yard run, but he's also going to do what you want him to do. And I think that's perfect for his role. Sutton has the ability to kind of slash and gash. He's got that speed. He can catch. He does everything that's exciting. Everything you wanted Kenny to do, or everything that Kenny did, he is Kenny-esque, essentially. So he kind of brings some of that, the lightning portion of Thunder and Lightning. And I guess Jay Ducker is going to be your Thunder in that situation. But
I don't know. How does Watson fit into that? And then, I mean, I'll be honest, Bull looked good too.
Bull did look good. Bull also got the most carries. So he had the most opportunity to look good, right? Obviously, very physically gifted, was at state before he came in. Surprisingly, working with a mismatched offensive line. Like I'm pretty sure he didn't have likes. Who did he have? I need to go back and look at that. He did have likes, wasn't it? Yeah. He had the Pounders, likes, Carter, Gildahouse. Like, I mean, he's had guys that either are starters or have been mentioned. Yeah, exactly. Or have played decent minutes. Like Gildahouse was pushing for a starting role last year.
Yeah.
At right tackle. So, or maybe it was left tackle. I can't remember. But I mean, these are proven guys. So he had a decent line, not a great line, not all starters, but he definitely had a line in front of him and he showed that he can be productive. So,
yeah,
I think it's another situation where we have 3 running backs and then maybe one gets hurt and you see another guy step up, which is a good thing. We do have the production to do something like that. And you're not asking, a true freshman or something like that to kind of come in and carry the rock. So,
yeah, I just
Sutton's fun as hell. That was the long way to say that.
Yeah. I mean, I'll be honest. Sutton and Bull the other night, both on the blue team. That first drive, they marched you right down the field, right? You didn't get a tutty, you got a field goal out of it, but I mean, that felt like a good 1-2 punch right there.
Sure.
And I'll say, Ryan said this afterwards, is they still got to find the dude in that room, right? And I don't know. It's like an echo every year now, right? Because he said the same thing last year. Is like we need 1-2 guys to stand up. You got to know who your 1 and 2 are. And it's like again last year we were playing 5 different dudes were getting carries, and then some games Seth is your leading attempts and yardage rusher, and it's like that is not a formula for winning football games.
Sure.
And that's nothing against Seth. That's just you need a productive running game other than your quarterback scrambling to be successful on the football field. So I don't know. I just still worry that there's we don't have that 1 and 2 dude that's going to stand out. And we're going to get stuck in this situation where 4 or 5 guys are getting 6 to 10 carries a game. Yeah. And it's just I don't like that. And I doubt the running back room likes that. You can't get any sort of like feel for the game or like build any sort of like, I don't know,
Just
fluidity
momentum in
and just
general.
like,
Yeah.
yeah, like, I don't know. So
Yeah.
hopefully throughout the summer and in fall camp, Sutton or Watson, somebody like steps up and is clear one with a 2 right behind them, and those are your 2 guys.
I mean, I think that's exactly how it's going to work. I would be shocked actually if it doesn't come out as Ducker 1, and honestly, I would say Watson 2, and then they just use Sutton on the field spare. Like you see him at slot, you see him at in that
Put him
Tony
in
Pollard
different
role.
spots. Yeah.
Yes, you move him around the field wherever he can create a mismatch because he is so fast and
Returning
shifty.
kicks.
Returning
Although they
kicks is
had
completely.
Demir back there catching punts and stuff, so
They had a lot of guys back there. I've seen at least 5 or 6 different dudes back there returning kicks.
no, they better figure it out.
I think
We did that. We toyed with that last year where you put 7 different guys back there receiving kicks. Let's get somebody identified.
we also saw a freaking 330-pound Malachi Breland and Josh White back there returning punts at spring game too. So
And that kid out of the band.
that kid out of the band was struggling, my man.
No.
He has never done that before.
Shout out to I mean, I think
I
you
forgot
and
his
would've
name.
probably caught it, but yeah, it was like Jeffrey or something. But catching a punt's not the easiest thing,
No,
especially under the lights. So
no,
tough to
definitely not
judge.
easy. Anything else football? Did you forget anything?
The only other thing, a little bit of news last week. It is officially official. The stadium upgrades, arena upgrades, are in the budget for this year. Set to begin after the conclusion of the Liberty Bowl game, the bowl game. So
Sure.
towards the end of this year, I think it's 350 from the state with a big 350. Shout out Maverick. With another 300-ish based on like tax plans. But my understanding is that the money from that, I think it's a rental car tax and then merchandising tax from sales within FedEx Forum for like a jaw jersey, right? Stuff like that.
Yeah.
And I think that money can only be used
For the forum.
on the forum. So we still don't have a breakdown or understanding of exactly how much is going to go towards Simmons Bank. Obviously, from the initial announcement, they're looking between 150 and 200 to be able to do the full renovation. I am very hopeful that you get the full 200. You do the entire renovation, both sides. But that was huge. So it's officially official. A step in the right direction. I think Laird had a press conference about it. A couple of different people have spoken on it, but obviously the hope is, you're showing the investment in football with the end result of joining a power conference. I mean, T, do you think it happens?
Do I think what happens?
The power conference happens. We get the most beautiful Simmons Bank Stadium in the land, and then the Power 5 comes a calling.
I don't think so. No. So I do think that you are correct that the 350 is cash and then the rest is all tax incentives. I think you're spot on there. In terms of the power conference calling, the only way I see it happening is if power conferences are just expanding, right? Something just happens, some trigger happens, and you're shaking your head. But
because your pessimism is
no, and hear me out.
me.
It has nothing to do with the stadium, and I don't think it ever had anything to do with the stadium. It could be brand new.
TJ,
You could take productive.
We are investing in football. That's what people have told us to do. We're gonna have the most beautiful haloed stadium in all the land. It's gonna look like a European soccer stadium.
Trey, all that matters are the numbers. Who's watching your games?
I know. Well, people are gonna want to turn the TV on and look at that stadium.
It's the financial aspect of it all. You are nothing but a number to these conferences. They don't really care about you as a school, as a city. It's just the numbers. So unless a conference is just naturally expanding, let's say we'll use the Big 12, even though personally
Then
I
can we
say
take the
forget the
350
Big 12.
mil in cash and just buy our way in?
No,
Forget the
that's not how that
stadium.
works. Not how that works.
You're
No,
killing me.
yes, I understand, but this is just how I'm naturally built out. Like I just don't foresee it happening unless another trigger or another domino falls and they're like, oh shit, we have to add another team. Where can we go? Where's the next biggest market available? Kind of situation. And
You said
SMU
dang
makes more
earlier,
sense.
and now
I
you're
know.
dropping S bombs.
What are you gonna do?
Kenny's gonna have to mark this as freaking
R-rated. No,
N17 or whatever.
if I look at the numbers and say what school makes more sense, it's more than likely going to be a California school, depending on what conference is calling. If it's Big 12, obviously a
ACC,
California school. ACC is not going to go to a California school. They would probably look
right?
at
At us, because we have history of Florida State and Louisville,
they
Virginia
don't
Tech.
care about that. They don't care about that. They
I
care
know they
about what
don't. It's
market
all
can help me.
money and eyeballs. All right, fine. You've talked me out of it. I was getting excited. Now it
Sorry.
doesn't matter. Forget the stadium. Who cares? What's the point?
No, don't
Why
forget
are
the
we even
stadium.
doing this? Why are we recording a podcast right now? Memphis Athletics is dead. Thanks, TJ. All right, we'll see you guys later.
I wish you would step back from that ledge, my friend.
Only if you sing this right now.
I don't want to wake up my son, or I would.
Fine. All right. Forget the stadium stuff. What anything else football related? We had a couple portalers. Noah Grant,
Yeah.
boom, out of here. But we told you about that last week when you got your kickoff specialist.
Yeah. Antoine Barham hit the portal.
Who? Antoine?
Antoine Barham Jr. AJ Barham, whatever you want to call him.
He's
Linebacker
kind of
from
been away.
Milan.
He's been away from the team
Yeah.
for a little bit, though, right?
Yeah. He kind of left the team earlier this year, kind of under wraps, and I think just kind of stuck around to hit the portal kind of situation. Not sure what's going to happen.
Waited till that window opened up.
Yeah, not sure what's going to happen there. He's from Milan. Milan's probably closer to Martin than it is Memphis. We're probably maybe in the middle. No, that's closer to Martin. But at this point, and it kind of plays into the next part, I would be shocked if it doesn't end up at MTSU because that's where everyone goes.
Half of our roster that's left goes there.
Yeah, James Stewart and Tyrell Raby both committed at MTSU.
University of Memphis Murfreesboro.
Yeah, Jeremy Tate, wide receiver 2 years ago or last year, I can't remember. He's at MTSU. Jace Yurdy was a JUCO tight end we pulled in. His brother Wes is on staff here. Yurdy left. He hit the portal. He's at MTSU. I mean, it was just like a feeder school for MTSU at this point.
Yeah, I mean, what is going on?
Yeah, what are you gonna do? What are you gonna do?
All right, I think that's it for football. Let's jump into basketball. There's been basketball news, Tej. You had mentioned it last week, and our boy Jaden Bradley. And then, sure enough, I mean, not 2 days after we recorded that, smoke starts a smoking. Jaden's coming to visit. And all signs were pointing to a visit that went well. He was with Penny courtside at the Grizz Lakers playoff game. We were expecting, if Penny wants a guy and he gets him on campus, odds are in his favor that the guy's committing. And we haven't gotten a commitment. Are you worried?
Yes, I think so.
Yeah, I think that's the only answer. I'm worried.
Yeah. Look, he's obviously a talent, right? We saw him average what? I think it was like 6 and 3.
I'm not gonna lie. I thought you just said he's obviously Italian, and I was like, I don't think that Jaden Bradley is Italian.
He's Italian.
He is Italian.
No, man.
It's a mozzarella.
No, he is a talented player. He was a 4-star, top 30-ish kid.
I'll tell you this: Evan Maya's got him as, I think, number 9 overall in the transfer portal. There are 1,200 transfer portal kids. Jaden Bradley's number 9 by Evan Maya standards.
Yeah. I forgot
Sorry,
what
he's
he
up to
averaged.
8. He moved up. Musa Cisse is 9 though. Give me both of them.
Yeah, 6-3. So what I was saying was nothing groundbreaking, right? Penny needs a point guard. Go grab the best one available. I mean, this isn't shocking.
Yes, I was. If you brought Bradley in at the 1, Mills at the 2, I was all about it.
Sure. And I think that comes
Sign
with our
me the
insecurities
heck
on
up.
what we think Mills is as a point guard.
I mean, I think he's capable, but
What do you mean by that? Like capable?
he can handle the ball. He has a high assist rate, so he can facilitate. Like, but I think he's better as a 2, a scoring 2.
The more I think about it, he's not really like he's kind of bounced around as a shooter. He being Mills, he's kind of bounced around as a shooter. I think I'd rather
What do you
the
mean
ball
by
be in
that?
his hand.
Bounced around as a shooter.
He had a really bad year last year from 3, if I remember correctly. And
I wouldn't say
the year before,
really bad.
I think he was up to 36. I think 36 is the cutoff of a good shooter and bad shooter, right? Is that where we?
I mean, he shot okay. So in 3 years, because I'm not counting the 4 games he played at Houston 2 years ago.
Sure.
He shot 36.5% from 3, 35.3%, very consistent. And then last year it was down a little bit, 29.4. But I'm not holding that against him.
My man said down a little bit. Dude, down a little bit, 29%.
He's down 6%.
10, 250 something. I can get out there to shoot 29%.
From where?
From Tree.
No. You couldn't shoot 29% from the free throw line. You may not shoot 29% with a left-handed layup.
Dude, I'm so bad at basketball. That's so true. Why you got to bury me like this? Is it cut? Are you taking shots at me because I talked you off?
We've played 3-on-3 in the driveway at my house before, and I kid you not, TJ was all-time screener. You know how you have like an all-time QB in touch football? TJ was all-time screener. So we had 3v3, but whoever was on offense has TJ as a 4th setting screens. It was great. And he was wearing Birkenstocks.
Clearing the path.
Yeah.
Clearing the path.
All right. All that to say, yes, he had a down year from 3, but I will take the 2 years prior to that as more of a realistic expectation.
He's probably somewhere in between. You know, I think if we want to chalk him up as anything, we'll say he's a 34% 3-point shooter, which is fine.
33.5. Give it to me. That's fine.
I rounded it up 34.
Yeah.
And that's fine. I think if you could do worse than Caleb Mills being your starting point guard, let's get that out in the open. You could do much worse than that. But I think you could obviously do much better. And that starts with Jaden Bradley.
Yeah.
Right. And if you are someone that believes Twitter rumors and you preach the Twitter Bible, it's NIL based. And I don't like that. I don't like that at all.
Yeah, I don't like hearing that either. And I mean, part of me wonders if it's that we can't get what he's asking for, or if he's asking for more than we think he's worth. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like, at some point, you got to be like, yeah, we want you, but it's not worth that. Like, let me redistribute that somewhere else and maybe get 2 other guys for whatever you're asking for that can be contributors. Because, shoot, TJ, we got, I mean, I don't even know how to count our scholarship situation. Is Malcolm back? I don't know. Is Jaden a walk-on? I don't know. J-Law just hit the portal. What the hell's going on? We were told that they were both staying at their situation. They had no better situation than being with Penny. Now Johnathan Lawson's in the portal, which I hate. I don't believe that one. Remember you. Ba-da-da-da-da. Will you shout out to J-Law. I'm going to miss him. I wanted him back.
That's another crappy situation for Penny. Because Jonathan's like, hey, I'm going to hit the portal. I just want to test the water, see what's out there. Who will come calling, right? Is there a better situation for me? Because if you're Penny, you're like, what's wrong with me? What's wrong with us? Staying home. But I
the
kind of
other
get it
part
from
of that is
Jonathan's
like,
perspective.
was it J-Law's decision, or was Penny like, hey, I don't know, maybe J-Law saw
Also
the
plays
writing
a
on the
role.
wall. You've brought in Leonard, you've brought in Mills, you've brought in who am I missing? Jourdain, but he's not taking minutes
From the
from
wing.
J-Law.
I mean, Sharon Font, I'm not going to cross it out. I'm high on him.
Anyway, it's, is he seeing he's going to struggle to get minutes given who Penny's already brought in?
Yeah. I completely get it from his
and
perspective.
outside of that, like, you say testing the waters, but let's be real. Like, people test the waters before they put their name in. Let's don't act like people aren't reaching out like, hey, you got interest before. Yeah. I heard some people today say like he's just entering in to see, what's out there, but it's like, that kind of stuff happens, behind people's backs before portal entries are made.
Sure.
So I don't
dad,
know how accurate that is.
That family is well connected in basketball circles. It's not like, it's not like Johnathan Lawson needs to hit the portal for people to know his name by any means.
Yeah. Right. Or for him to like gauge interest of programs that would take him. I do think that it's interesting that it's Keelan has said that Chandler is staying though.
Yeah, I was going to ask between the two Lawsons, and I don't want to pit them against each other by any means, but like, who would you rather have between the two? I'll let you think. I've made my piece known. I was very high on Chandler at the end of the year. I thought he made several really big plays defensively. He started stretching the floor. He gives you that leadership that this team is likely not going to have, and a little bit of consistency that I think they need from a senior leader. So for me, I'm going Chandler personally, and that's nothing against Johnathan because I think he is a freak show talent. I'm just worried that he is not going to be able to unleash and kind of show that potential that he has.
I think it's a good question and it's interesting. From a long-term ceiling, J-Law has much more upside. I think if he was here, I mean, he's got more time in front of him. He's got 3 years left. So like just from that standpoint alone, and I think he's got just offensively. I mean, he needs some work defensively, but like I think there's more upside there.
Sure.
I think he could be a more productive player, but to your point, for next year's team, Chandler gives you a little bit of that like familiarity with the program, a leadership aspect. Later in the year, I mean, he was knocking down 3 balls. He was grabbing boards. Like he was doing things you need him to do. He's not going to come out and be like a 20 and 10 guy, but when he's on the floor, he was going to give you solid minutes. And I think given what the roster looks like right now, you're fine at the wing. It's a little bit crowded. So from that standpoint, I'm like, we're thin in the front court. You need Chandler right now more than you probably need Johnathan, which feels weird to say, but because I mean, I don't think you're done in the front court. So like we could ask this question again in a month and I could be like, I wish Johnathan was here. Right. So like, I think right now, just immediate future for next year, I could see where you're coming from with Chandler being the one that's back.
Yeah.
Although I would have loved to have Johnathan back on the team.
I want them both back, honestly.
I think Johnathan could have made a big leap going into next year.
At what position?
Put him at the 3.
You think he's a 3? I'm still trying to figure that out. Like, I don't know. I think I'd rather him have a 2 because that's some serious size there.
I don't. Why are you talking about position number? You're Mr. Positionless.
I am
What's the
Mr.
matter?
guarding their shooting guard.
You think he wanted to bring the ball up more, and that's what's going on? They
Yes.
brought in Pierre, who's going to be a point forward. Caleb's going to be the one. Maybe that's what's happening.
I do think part of me thinks that is a part of it in general. Like, I think that he believes he can play on the ball more, and I'm not saying he can't, but it's more so I think he wants to be more involved. He doesn't want to be a catch and shoot guy, which is kind of what he turned into for a bit there.
Yeah, which is unfortunate because I mean, let's be real. He shot like 42% last year as sort of a catch and shoot 3-point dude.
Yeah. Yeah.
But
what were the attempts?
There's
The
a
attempts
difference
were
in just
low.
a straight up catch and shoot 3-point and a real like true 3-and-D, which he's not
Oh,
a
yeah.
3-and-D build by any means, and I think he's more talented than that. But like
Mhm.
the D side of that wasn't there, so it was really just like a 3 and that's it. No and.
I mean, I think he is somebody that if he wants to be a 3 or play on the wing, however you want to word it, if he could add 10 pounds of like good size to him, I think he may have a shot there. I'm worried though, because he is kind of, I'm trying to think of a nice way to put this. He's kind of slow, right? It's just kind of like that Lawson trend. And
Yeah,
not saying
which
they're like
is
slow because they're so talented. The whole family has been so talented, but like
yeah.
they've always just seemed like that tick too
They are
slow.
they are good basketball players, high IQ, I think. But there is like yeah, it's weird. Not it's like lateral slowness. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Maybe not
I'm with
like
you.
straight line slow or running slow, but just like footwork slow.
Yeah.
I don't
I'm
know.
with you. So my whole point was add just a little bit of size to the frame. I know he's still so young, so he's got, I mean, the dude could add 20 pounds in a year for all we know. But I think if he could add a little more mass to him, I mean, maybe he doesn't get blown off a block. I mean, there's just so much potential there that maybe adding some size, I think, kind of benefits that.
Yeah, and who knows if he truly is testing the waters, like some people have said. Again, in a couple of weeks, he may be
Yeah.
back. I don't know. I will say this: I've looked at the sausage maker over at Bar Torvik. They've already taken J-Law off, and we have fallen. TJ, I think we were what 42nd last week with our current roster. We are now at 50th. We are going the wrong direction. But in Penny, we trust. Right behind your head. He's got a plan. I know he's figuring things out. Yeah, how many scholarships do we have right now?
I really don't know. Like, I've been trying to scream at you guys for I don't know how long. Ashton, Jaden, those are your walk-ons.
Even I'm not include them. They have schollies. How many do you have? We hadn't even talked about Tylar's officially decommitted out of here. And his wording on that was weird. Open recruitment. It's like prep school.
Yeah. Yeah. I think he's going to have to go to that prep school.
Because what? He was down to us, NC State, and Seton Hall. Is that right?
Seton Hall, yeah.
I mean, if you don't have the credits of getting into Memphis, I don't think you're getting into NC State or Seton Hall.
NC State, right? I'm going to say 3. I think you're going to have 3. You're going to have the Tyler. Maybe I'm jumping the gun here. The Mikey. Just throwing that out there. And my third one, hear me out, is either going to be Malcolm or JJ. I don't think you get
open.
both.
You're saying open?
Yes. I can't see a situation where JJ comes
you think if
Mikey doesn't come.
Okay, that's what I was going to say.
But also, like, I have no clue.
You think you get one or the other? You think either JJ or Mikey will be on the team next year?
No. I kind of want JJ to come because, like, I don't like the idea that he just got a scholarship because he's Mikey's roommate and friend. I don't like that. I mean, this dude was like top 5.
Some people have said JJ was the one that ratted Mikey out.
Dude, we talked about that in the Discord. I was like, how long until we found out JJ snitched? Ha ha ha. And someone sent the link. They were like, too late. That's already happened. And I was like, dang, dude, I was kidding. But like,
So maybe JJ does come and Mikey's out of here.
I don't know, dude. I don't
So
know.
let me ask you this. If you're Penny Hardaway right now, he said this last week, Mikey, his expectation is Mikey, he's still with Mikey. You cut ties with Mikey now? Given what happened Thursday, they added a 6th felony charge Thursday in his initial court hearing.
No, I was out on Mikey like a month ago.
Yeah.
I didn't even need the felony to be out on Mikey.
Yeah. I mean, I think
That's a personal thing. That's a TJ thing. But yeah,
you got to cut ties. Open up the Scully.
I hate that because it does seem like that Penny's given up on a kid kind of situation if that happens. And we have seen him kind of work with these guys. I don't want to say it's like a reclamation project, but we've seen him stick with Imani through thick and thin, right? Through Imani's whole situation, the back issues, that whole situation. He rode with them, then played him in late into the conference, into the playoff. Like it was just, we have seen him take the side of the highly skilled player because like from a player's perspective, if you are a coach who just abandons a guy once he hits some problems, probably not the best look, right? You want to know that your coach has your back. So I get that he is riding with Mikey here.
Yeah, but
also I don't think he's actually riding with Mikey here.
Chemistry and back issues is a little bit different than firing guns at people. But
yeah,
whatever.
Innocent until
I think you do. I think you got to cut ties and move on and get something in the portal. There are, I mean, we got what, TJ? What is it? May 11th, the portal closes.
May 11th.
We still got 2 full weeks of portalness.
Yeah, man. 17 days for dudes to hit the portal.
I mean,
that's crazy to think about.
There could still be somebody out there that hasn't entered yet that is an absolute game changer. I think D. Grum said this in the Discord earlier today. I mean, at this point last year, Katie had just committed 2 days ago.
Yeah.
So, like, there's still a lot of time left in this portal game. And I'll ask you this. This popped up in the Discord. Do you like this new reality of college athletics with the portal and the craziness? And
do I like it? It's fun.
Or do you miss the way that it used to be? I do. Yes, it does. It is fun. It makes for us to be able to have content year round. I mean, that's the reality of it.
Sure.
But it's also a little bit frustrating to like rebuild a team every year. I mean, you think about the run that we had with Cal and the Laurenburg dudes. Like, you're not getting that anymore. Where you get a class that comes in, sticks together for 3 years, makes a national title. Like, we're rebuilding every year. That's just the reality of it.
I'm trying to think. Like, I like it in the sense that all of this stuff that's happening was already happening behind the scenes. So now it's just out in the open, right? Maybe not like the total financial numbers, right? Well, like I don't think like Nigel Peck's getting $800,000 in a real world.
And I don't necessarily mean just the NIL stuff either. I'm talking like just straight transfer portal and this free transfer. Like,
yeah, no,
I'm 1,200 kids in the portal.
I'm completely fine with that because if you are Penny Hardaway, Penny is a bad example. If you are Chris Beard, she's Chris Beard. If you're Chris Beard, he has one decent season at Ole Miss, and Virginia opens up because Tony Bennett is a fraud. Virginia could pay some heavy quan. Like at any point in time, you could, as a player, you can commit to Chris Beard to play. You're committing to Chris Beard, right? Let's get that up. And he's gone. You're not committing to Ole Miss. Like, yes, you may be committing to Ole Miss, but like you're actually committing to Chris Beard. And at any point in time, he's gone. And in a scenario where the portal doesn't exist, you're just stuck there. Like, what? This dude can leave at any time and I have to be stuck here? Like here, Oxford? No. Hell no.
Yeah.
Nothing against Oxford, by the way.
Yeah.
You get my point.
Oxford defeated Morgan Wallen last night. I don't know if you saw that. Dude canceled his concert 8 minutes before he's supposed to go on stage.
I was following that because it was getting blown up on Twitter.
It gave me PTSD from the Memphis, Tennessee game 2 years ago. I'm just going to be honest.
Yeah, fair.
So, and he's a Tennessee guy, so Tennessee fans can now shut the hell up about us canceling that game because Morgan Wallen just canceled his concert 8 minutes before he's supposed to go on stage. All right, Tej, the portal is live. It's active. We got 2 more weeks of it. We'll see what happens. I mean, between right now, Monday, April 24th, and next Monday, who knows? We could have 3
next Monday? That's not right.
No, I'm just saying our next episode. We could have a totally new, not totally new roster, but I mean, you could have 3 new guys on the team for all we know.
Yeah. Give me this freaking Rage Dennis is his name. I'm not saying this is happening. This is not me projecting anything. Ray J, Rage Dennis. I was just stating the obvious, right? You just find the best player and go grab him. This dude is a point guard for Toledo, averaged 19 and 6 and 6 assists. So you got 20 and 6, which is absurd from a point guard. And he's shooting 37% from 3 on 4 attempts. Granted, that's at Toledo. He would be a senior transfer.
I mean, if he can put the ball in the hoop, he can put the ball in the hoop.
He could hit the portal at any time. Okay. Like, I wish I could tell Kenny just to throw some stats up here and see this guy. 6'2" point guard, 20 and 6. Like, what are we talking about? Like, that'd be great. And you could still get that in 2 weeks from now. It's absurd. So,
yeah.
I don't know. You got plenty of time.
A lot of time. Trust in Penny. All right, Tej, let's natch it up.
It's good, man. Let's be honest with the people. We have actually had this before.
One of those little pinwheel things.
I crushed mine on accident. I didn't mean to. We've had this beer before. It was probably the first episode we've ever filmed. And I thought I was recording with my mic and I was recording with my laptop. And I kept muting the mic to burp. I actually muted. I actually hit the thing and I was like, burp. And then turns out I was not muting myself. And I was just ripping burps the entire episode and like completely ruined the audio. And,
we've already had this.
Yeah, I think this is the first beer we ever did. Like circa 2021 or whatever that was.
Really?
I think so. I'm pretty sure this was the one. I don't know. I'm pretty sure that was the beer we had. The burping episode where Kenny texted us and was like, this dude was just ripping burps the entire time. It was unusable.
Oh, I know what you're talking about. It's never been released to the public.
Correct. No. And that was literally 2021, I feel like.
I didn't love this beer, to be honest.
Oh, really, dude? I like it. Crushed.
Mine, it tastes, and I'm done with it. It's got a weird after. I don't know. Okay. It tastes like something familiar, but I can't pick out what it is.
Freaking different strokes, different folks. I get it, man.
The story that we were talking about earlier, though. So Natch was a bear that was chained up in Overton Park, which seems absolutely wild. And Colonel Robert Galloway started raising funds to give him a shelter, and then ended up using that money and supplemented with some of his own money and some from the Parks Commission to open what is now the Memphis Zoo in 1906, where Natch and a couple of other abandoned wild animals were the first animals in the Memphis Zoo. So shout out to Natch.
Man.
It's a fine beer. I don't know that I would run downstairs and grab another one right now. It is the can. It's okay.
I kind of like the can. There's a lot of simplicity to it. Again, I actually crushed mine, so just disregard that.
Yeah, I don't know why you did. Is that what is when you knocked on it?
No, I was drinking the can, and I went to put it between my leg and this chair next to me, and I kind of crushed it a little bit.
He's riding a tricycle with what's that thing called, a pinwheel?
That's not a tricycle. That is 2 wheels, my man. That is a
I
bicycle.
just assumed that there was another one on the other side because I don't know how you ride
That's a
that with
bike,
a
dog.
big wheel and a little one.
It's the old school bicycle.
The can's okay. I'm gonna go like 6.6 on the can.
Yeah. This bike is called a penny farthing, by the way.
Excuse me?
Penny farthing, like farting, but with an H after the T. Farthing. What do you want from me? I like the can. I
Like
think
Penny
it is
Hardaway?
maybe. I don't
Wow.
know.
Yeah, high wheeler. Okay, I've seen this. Can you imagine riding that thing?
No.
These things.
I'm pretty good at riding bikes, but no. Would you give the can?
This is a safety bicycle because of the reduced danger of falling.
I don't believe that. I'm now falling from 5 feet as opposed to just 2 feet.
Yeah, I don't understand how that's.
Would you rate the can?
Not falling. 6.6.
6. I like it a little bit better than that. Only because I like the little blue lines. I like the little paint stripe situation going on there. And maybe this is slightly biased for me. I'll give it a little extra oomph because I actually like the Hampline Brewing Room. It's kind of small and kind of hidden. I'll say a 6.8. Maybe a 6.9. I'll say 6.9. I kind of bounced around. I'll say 6.9.
Nice.
You did not love the beer. I did like the beer. I think this is delicious. I would definitely drink multiple of these. I kind of see what you're talking about with the aftertaste, kind of. I didn't really have that issue with mine, but I can kind of see what you're talking about there. I'm gonna say
It may also be
7.
because I bought this and then we went to dinner, and so it sat in the car and got a little bit warmer, I think. I think I need to redo this beer and have it ice cold.
Yeah, man. Mine's been sitting in the fridge for a couple months, I feel like. So I'm gonna say like a 7.7. I like it. I can definitely drink multiple of them. Yeah, pretty good.
I'm going 6.9, your can score.
Nice.
With an asterisk that I need to retry it at the appropriate temperature. Put that in your notes.
Yeah, I'll notate that. Done.
All right, Teej. Who knows between now and next week, portaling. Who knows where we'll be? Who knows what kind of news we'll get? Will we have reclass news next week? I don't know. We didn't even get into that this week. We got some reclass stuff we need to talk about.
Dang, my man Rage Dennis hit. He's going to the draft. I blew it.
Oh wow. He's doing it and throwing away his college eligibility?
I guess so. I mean, dude, statistically looked great. That was a perfect penny attack guy.
Hey,
Go
don't count
go
out
make
Penny.
some money, dude.
Maybe Penny can
Be in
work
line.
some magic.
Be in line.
All right. Till next week. Come with the cold beer straight for the hot takes. Peace.